All right, folks. This is Dr. Serelda with Married to My Purpose. I am excited to talk to you all today. Listen, I've got some juicy stuff today. So, as of course, we are talking about being married to our purpose, not being married to a person or an ideology, but married to our purpose. And there are elements, of course, to being married. There are elements, of course, to things that happen before you get married, while you are married, and then if you transition out of a marriage, there are attributes to that as well. But today I'm going to focus on a few attributes, and those attributes are going to talk about some lessons learned. Now that I am no longer married in a relationship and I am single, there are some things that I have learned that I think have translated over to me being married to my purpose. And the first one is number one, stop rehearsing the hurt. Listen, regardless of if you are inside of a marriage, or if you are single, if you're widowed, if you are divorced, it doesn't matter. Stop rehearsing the hurt. There could be things that have happened to you in your childhood that you are still holding on to. Let it go. You got to let it go. Because if you don't let it go, it's going to follow you in everything that you touch, in every relationship that you are a part of, whether it's a platonic relationship or someone that you are in an intimate relationship with. If you are continuing to rehearse the hurt that has happened in your life, you will not be able to move forward in a healthy way in any other relationship or anything that you touch in terms of your purpose. Okay. Number two, I have a question for you. Who told you that love didn't hurt? Guess what? Love does hurt. Love hurts inside of a marriage. It hurts post marriage. It hurts before you get married. And the hurt doesn't necessarily have to come from the institution of the marriage. The hurt could come from things that are centered around the circumstances in your own life. Loving yourself hurts. Guess what? I am learning to plan a national conference. Guess what, folks? That hurts. I love what I'm doing. I love that I am grasping the concept of being married to my purpose. But I love the fact that I can do that. What I don't love is that it hurts sometimes. It's uncomfortable. I'm having to learn new skill sets. I'm having to learn more about marketing. I'm having to learn more about the nuances of public speaking, sales, sponsorships, registrations, websites, landing pages, you name it. I'm loving what I'm doing, but I am not loving how it's feeling. There are some nights where I want to go to sleep. I can't go to sleep. I got to get it done, right? Number three, never make yourself feel like you are unimportant. In your purpose, you are the most important person first. And why do I say that? I say that because you have to understand who you are before you can help someone else. There's nothing worse than someone trying to regurgitate information to you and they have no idea what they're talking about. I've heard people say in church and even on my job, let your video and your audio align. You don't want to have something that you are saying, and then when people see your life, they're like, that's not what she said. We definitely don't want that. So make sure you know the foundation of who you are first. You can't help anyone else until you understand who you are. You know what else will happen? People will be confused by your message. They'll be confused by your purpose. And they can't follow confusion. And you know what happens when you're confused and you're following someone? Everybody gets lost. Everybody. Okay. What about number four? Your being married to your purpose is a necessity for your survival. Being married to your purpose is a necessity for your survival. So I'll give you an example of this. I left high school, went to college. I had scholarships. I was part of ROTC in college. I was part of band. I was part of pageants. I was part of so many different entities in college. Left college, went into the military because I had to pay back my student loans, or my not only my student loans, but my time having received the ROTC scholarship. I had to pay that back with time, not with money. Now, am I saying any of these things to say that they're not part of my purpose? They were absolutely part of my purpose. But my survival is dependent on me knowing my purpose. The military was not my purpose. Being in pageants was not my purpose. Being in ROTC in college was not my purpose. Being in the world famed Tiger Marching Band, the baddest band in the land, Grambling State University. Yes, in Grambling, Louisiana. Okay, where everybody is somebody. That was not my purpose. Now, at times I thought it was. I came from a small town, Faraday, Louisiana. And listen, I thought I was going to Hollywood when I went to Grambling. Okay, it was a big place for me, but it wasn't my purpose. And every time I attained something, guess what happened? I was looking for more. I was looking for more until I started to look within. As soon as I began to look within, I became very content with me. Okay. Number 5. This is just how I am syndrome. Okay. So let me break this down. Have you ever heard someone say, this is just how I am? They're just going to have to accept it. Look, I am who I am. It is what it is. They can take it or leave it because this is who I am and this is who I'm going to be. Well, guess what? Today, I am who I am. But I am growing. I'm developing. I want to grow and I want to develop and I want to evolve. So I can't keep saying, this is how I am. Whatever. If they don't like it, then they can find somebody else they can hang out with, or they don't have to call me. I mean, you got the neck roll going on, all types of stuff, right? But we also have to understand that being who we are right now, today, may not satisfy God's purpose that He placed in you. You may be living under what you really should be and who you really should be, what you really should be doing and who you really should be. Okay? So we've got to do self-inventory. This just how I am syndrome, we've got to kill it. We have got to kill it. What about thinking that the grass is greener in somebody else's yard in terms of purpose? I don't ski. I don't ice skate. I don't flame throw. I don't shoot weapons for leisure. Now, when I was in the military, I had to carry a live weapon when I was deployed 3 times. That's not my hobby, though. I'm not a mathematician. I'm not a scientist. I'm not an engineer. That's not my wheelhouse. That's not my skill set. So I'm not going to try and go over into their yard and do what they do best, do what their purpose has called them to do. I need to focus on what my purpose has called me to do. Just because we may not be doctors and lawyers, but guess what? Doctors and lawyers, if you're listening to this, it's the same concept. I'm not a doctor or a lawyer, a doctor in terms of medical doctors, but I am a doctor in a specialty field. I am a doctor of strategic leadership and leadership coaching, which is why I spend a lot of my time with clients, developing, walking alongside them so that they can realize their aha moment and get busy on living in their purpose. Listen, I'm going to sit here for just a second and say this. If you died today, what legacy are you living? Are you busy building a legacy, or are you sitting down doing nothing? You have 2 options. You can stay and die in that space that you're currently in and having done nothing towards your purpose, or you can leave that space Now we're talking about a space where you know that you know that you know you should be doing something different. Okay. So for those of you who are in your space, you're in your pocket, you have nestled into your purpose, I'm not speaking to you. But for those of us who have spaces in our lives where we have sat still for so long and we're just dying in that space, you're going to stay and die, or you're going to leave and live. You only have two options. So if you know you're not living up to your full potential, even if you don't know what to do, start doing something. There is so much information on the internet. There's so much information on your phones. You can gather information from Google, Siri, Alexa, any of them can talk back to you. Now, they may not give you the best information sometimes, but we have a plethora of data sources to receive information from. Okay. So the grass being greener in somebody else's yard, let their grass stay where it is and grow green the way that it's growing. Could be turf. You never know. What about this? Marriage is a perfect union in the traditional sense between two imperfect people. So if we're talking about ourselves, marriage is a perfect union between you and your purpose. And there is nothing perfect in that process or that relationship. The relationship between yourself and your purpose is not perfect. It doesn't mean that you quit, though. How many times have we quit on ourselves? That's not what we intend to do. No one wants to quit on themselves. But if you have gotten beat down so much and you can't see the light at the end of the tunnel, I encourage you, get up. Get up. There is light. Find a glimmer of light. If I'm the glimmer of light for you today, get up. It's time. Okay? What about the Johari window? I want you all to go out and I want you to look this up. Johari. The Johari window. Okay. How are you managing your windows? There are 4 quadrants in that window of the Johari window model. Okay. There's a quadrant where you know about yourself, other people know about you, which is a blind spot. Then you have spaces where you know other people don't know anything about you and you can project, which is called a facade. And then there's an open area, that area where you don't know and no one else knows because you haven't developed that area out. That area could be your purpose. That area could be areas of your purpose that you have not touched in a long time. I had no intentions of hosting a national conference, but now I'm hosting a national conference in El Paso, Texas, not even in my home space where I'm comfortable with my support network. It's not an easy feat, but it will be done. And we may take it on tour. We'll see after the first one. Okay, so we have to understand there are some open areas that we can be developed, learn more skills, understand our purpose more so that we can maximize the rest of our lives. Okay, and then the last one, but certainly not least, life is not promised. So make it count, folks. Make it count. I'm retired from the military. I'm working for the government. I have a small business. I'm working on other areas of my life that I can maximize generational wealth and build legacy for my children and my family. What are you doing to make it count? What are you doing to make it count? Before we can do anything for anyone else, we have to do it for ourselves. So I encourage you today, as you are listening in, and you can listen to this as many times as you want, the Married to My Purpose podcast, please join us in El Paso, Texas, August 2nd through the 4th. Go to the Married to My Purpose website, register. I'm looking forward to it. And for those of you who are looking to actually write books, publish books, self-publish books, give me a holler. That's part of what I do as well. So listen, make sure that you are focused on your purpose. Make sure that you're focused on yourself, because there are people assigned to you specifically. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine someone standing in line right now behind you? You don't even know that they're there. And they're waiting to talk to you about what's inside of you, your failures, your successes, your divorces, your marriages, the deaths in your family, losing a spouse, a child, a parent, a friend, being a caregiver at an early age, learning to grow up in your teen years. It could be rape, it could be sexual assault, it could be sexual harassment, it could be a manner of drugs, drug dealers, whatever it is. Imagine there is a whole legion of people behind you waiting for you to show up. There are all of those people that are assigned to you that's waiting for you to be married to your purpose so that they can become married to theirs. Listen, thank you all for listening in this week. I'm looking forward to seeing you all back next week. Reach out to me at coachingthatcaresllc@gmail.com. Let's talk. Or go on my social media sites. You'll see it in the handle, but you'll also see the link for the conference, www.marriedtomypurpose.com. I'm looking forward to you being there. You do not want to miss this, okay? I will talk with you soon. Bye-bye now.